Back, we're continuing our live coverage of the police situation in Western Sioux Falls. Police say that it was an officer-involved shooting.
And KELOLAND's Jordan DeSmit is at the Law Enforcement Center now, where Sioux Falls police are getting ready to hold a news conference. Jordan, what are you seeing and hearing?
Yeah, good evening. Well, it's a packed press conference room here, and so we're just mere minutes away from learning more about the situation on West 12th Street. We're going to hear from Chief John Toom, and we're going to go to the press conference right now. Everybody.
Chief John Toom, Sioux Falls Police Department. This afternoon. Now, again, keep in mind this is still less than 3 hours old, so very preliminary at this time what we'll talk about. And as we talked about in the past with these types of incidents, there's not a lot of information or questions that can be answered due to the integrity of the investigation, but we'll still do our best to give you a synopsis here of what happened. Approximately 4 o'clock today, officers from our violent crime unit were in the 400 block of South Elmwood, attempting to apprehend a suspect whose name is on the board, Samir Albaldani. Albaldani. The spelling's up there if you need it. He was a wanted parole absconder, as well had numerous warrants from multiple different counties. In the course of trying to take this individual into custody, our violent crime unit attempted to take him into custody, and in the course the offender produced a firearm and fired at our officers. Our officers did return fire, but in the course of that engagement, one of our officers was struck by the suspect's shot. As this continued, the suspect then fled the scene, was able to steal a vehicle that was in the area and flee from Sioux Falls. We're trying to put this information all together. As you can imagine, a very chaotic scene, but we're able to air some descriptions of the vehicle and its possible headings, at which point our partners from the Highway Patrol and I believe Union County Sheriff's Office were able to intercept the vehicle on I-29 south of town. And Captain Mayer here with the Highway Patrol will kind of give you a synopsis of what took place once the events proceeded leaving the city.
I don't have much to add other than our troopers were assisting the Sioux Falls Police Department here in town with the incident. Once we learned that there was a vehicle that was stolen from the area, we had troopers looking for that vehicle on the interstate. One of our troopers did find that vehicle traveling southbound. They engaged in a pursuit with that vehicle. At the end of that pursuit, some shots were exchanged by our trooper and the suspect. Suspect was struck. He was transported to the hospital by ambulance. None of our troopers were hurt during this incident. Other than that, that's all I have.
As we've kind of covered in the past, we can't get into details much about that, but the officer who is injured from our Sioux Falls Police Department was transported to a local hospital with injuries, but non-life-threatening injuries, and is currently receiving care. Just that officer is in his early 30s with our department, and again has been serving with us for I think a little over 10 years, and works as part of our violent crime unit. We've talked about the dangers our officers experienced in the past. I think Sheriff Milstead and I covered this a couple weeks ago in a press conference just to talk about the alarming assaults that have taken place on officers. And this again highlights the danger that law enforcement is under on a day-to-day basis. Again, we'll let the DCI will work through, as they always do with these situations, on the officer-involved shooting parts. There'll be a criminal investigation. They'll proceed still on the subject's actions. Again, very preliminary at this point. And again, more information will be available down the road as that develops. But at this point, again, we wanted to provide you with an update as to what took place. We also wanted to thank the Minnehaha County Sheriff's Office, ATF Marshals, Union County Sheriff's Office, Highway Patrol, Lincoln County, DCI, pretty much every law enforcement agency in the I-29 corridor and region of Sioux Falls who responded to assist us in this situation. Again, it has been, I think I'll just throw it out because I know you'll ask, I don't think we've had an officer struck by gunfire since the 80s, potentially in Sioux Falls. It's going to take us a little research to go back. But again, something that we worry about constantly. We train and prepare and know the reality of what can take place in our job. But again, it's something that we obviously take very seriously, and we'll do our best to make sure the investigation that needs to follow up here will take place and take the necessary actions. We'll take limited questions. Again, if you've been to one of these press conferences before, you'll know that there's not a lot we can say due to the ongoing investigation, but we'll do our best.
You mentioned that they were apprehended in Union County.
I believe the final landing spot was south on
Right at the
I-29.
Beersford exit.
Right at the Beersford exit
So
in Union County.
Union
Yeah.
County line.
Yep.
What is his condition?
We just know he's transported to a local hospital in the area and is receiving medical care.
Can you touch on what violent crimes officer does, or kind of like their role?
We've covered that pretty well in the past on a lot of different press briefings, but our violent crime unit is basically a unit we stood up in 2021, 2022, whose job is to go after the worst of our offenders, the people who we know in our community have violent crime histories, parole absconders, or people of that nature with wanted warrants. They work closely with the Minnehaha County Warrant Task Force, with our investigations division, and with our federal partners to work collaboratively to work on violent criminals within our community. And that's kind of their overarching goal. And we've covered some of their stats in the past. They're a very effective unit, consummate professionals, extremely proud of the work they do. And they know that part of the work they do is of danger and risk. But again, they're putting their efforts out there because these are people who seek, in many circumstances, to do harm to our community. And we understand our role in law enforcement, our charge is to make sure that we take care of the community. And these are your officers going out there to protect your community. And again, attack on them is something we take very seriously.
So officers in the early 30s, you said?
Say again?
Your officers in the early 30s? you said?
Yeah.
And you've been with you for 10 years?
Yep.
It's a whole career.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah. So
Can I ask you how many people in the violent crime unit were approaching the suspect?
preliminary at this time, I can't give you details on that. They work as teams, again, with multiple partner units under certain areas, so.
So obviously there's a couple of streets shut down and a couple of residents we saw in the city
Yeah.
could not go home. Do you guys have a time estimation for when people may be able to go back to their houses?
Ultimately, we're still processing the scene, probably in the next, probably hour, I would say. Again, what we ended up here with was a lot of chaos, right?
Yeah.
So we have multiple scenes involved, cross-county, different areas. The Department of Criminal Investigation will take the lead, so we want to maintain scene integrity on top of a beautiful South Dakota spring weather, trying to maintain that. So initially, the first response that I know from a media standpoint, you'll come out and try to get footage and information soon, but we had a suspect who we didn't know their whereabouts. We can't take anything for granted, so blocking off the streets, taking those measures of safety are just protocol that we feel is important for public safety.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Can you say in approximation where the vehicle was taken from?
I guess I could tell you in that general area, that 12th and Elmwood area, so.
Was the vehicle occupied? Can you touch on that one?
Yeah, we don't believe it was occupied.
Okay.
I think we'll dig a little more, but I think it was just in the area and accessible to that individual.
Was the suspect alone when they were approached by police? Were there other people?
Yep. Yeah, we believe the suspect was alone at this point and may have had, ties to the area or houses in the area, but was alone at that point.
Who's outside?
Outside. Yeah.
He comes to, he survives, does he stay at the jail, does he stay at the prison?
Yeah, so at this point, be lodged based on a lot of charges that are being investigated at this moment, affidavits to come, the fact that he's a parole absconder will give us some latitude to kind of work through those investigation pieces at the moment. Again, it's not, usually you get us within 3 hours of an incident, so a lot of those pieces are moving right now. And we or DCI will have follow-up information in the future as far as that goes. Yeah, and then you've got counties and state attorneys from multiple counties now too who will be consulted on this. So it'll be a little bit to put together.
And that vehicle that was stolen, was it unlocked? Was it running? Keys in it?
I believe so.
It was running with the keys in it?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
That's very preliminary again.
Are you able to share any information on what the suspect was wanted for at the time?
So parole absconder and then had outstanding warrants for burglary, motor vehicle theft, aggravated eluding, failure to appear for eluding, and some other license violations. Right.
Is it a car with running with the keys in?
We believe so, yes, at this point.
Is it a bunch car or something?
Don't know that. That's something we'll have to put together down the road, and it'd be I'm not fully abreast as the details of that investigation was at the hospital and some other things. So it'd be inappropriate for me to comment on that.
Can you maybe talk a little bit about what the officer's protocol is when a victim, the suspect pulls out a firearm?
Yeah, so really if you look at being faced with a deadly threat circumstance, they're responding to what the suspect provides them. In this case, a firearm or shots fired produces a deadly threat. And again, I'll say this, extremely proud of our officers and in the numerous officer-involved shootings that I've been as chief. Every single time our officers are responding with training and things that we've worked on and things that we've put in place. And again, this is another circumstance where they responded as they were trained, even in the administration of medical aid to each other. Again, we put all these things in place for a reason, and again, the training is what they fall back to.
The officers get counseling or something like that involved?
Yeah, so it's standard as we're going through the initial phases of this, the peer support component, the diffusing component of it. It's been well documented, the toll that, again, law enforcement takes in these circumstances, and we do our best across the board to make sure that there's resources available. Even the leave that's administered to the people involved, we want to make sure, and again, from our standpoint, we are very fortunate that this is an officer being shot is a unique circumstance for our community, but we don't take that for granted. And again, we're going to make sure that we make sure our people have the resources that they need.
Did everybody look at the department been around long enough to actually have another officer?
We've had numerous officers injured, some seriously injured, but I don't believe anybody currently working here at the Sioux Falls Police Department. And that, again, we kind of did a quick search even through the history of what we could find. We have officers that have worked for other agencies, though, that have had experience in this area. And so, again, we are fortunate not to have had this happen, but again, not naive to the dangers that we face in our job.
And again, not life-threatening.
Not life-threatening.
Do you know how long after the call for backup the next units were able to arrive to the area?
Virtually instant. I mean, those calls go out. The tones of the radio call that goes out simply will be all hands on deck type situation. That's where we had federal, local agencies, highway patrol coming in, and again, very quickly units were able to get there to help out.
So the theft of the vehicle was immediate?
We believe very immediate to the immediate aftermath of that.
All right, you've been watching KELOLAND News, and we just heard from Sioux Falls Police Chief John Toom there on the officer-involved shooting that we've been reporting on for the last couple hours near 12th and Elmwood in western Sioux Falls. During this press conference that is just wrapping up, we learned that the suspect had a gun and that an officer was struck by this suspect. The suspect fled and was eventually intercepted on I-29 near the Beersford exit, which is where KELOLAND's Dan Santella currently is. We're hoping to have a live report from him coming up soon here. Shots were also exchanged in that area where police say the suspect was hit and taken to the hospital. The officer that was shot has also been taken to the hospital. The situation started around 4 p.m. is what police are saying. The scene is still being investigated, so they are still asking people to stay away from that area near 12th and Elmwood. Hopefully Dan Santella will be ready. Okay, I'm just now hearing that Dan Santella is ready near that I-29 Beersford exit. Dan, what are you seeing out there?
Lauren, this is exit 42, about 30 miles south of Sioux Falls, 7 or so miles south of Beersford. A lot of attention as photojournalist Grant Robertson focuses the camera here on that maroon vehicle behind that white South Dakota Highway Patrol pickup. We see different authorities milling around here. From this distance here, looks like they're placing yellow placards on the ground. Grant just nodded to me. That's what he's seeing through the viewfinder and what he's showing you as well right now. So a lot happening here with regard to taking this scene in. We have lights still going here. We know earlier, as you just heard from Lauren, that this is part of the developments that we've been covering for you in Sioux Falls. So you can't take this exit southbound 42. You're not able to really approach it from either east or west either. We had to park a ways away and then walk with our camera to get to this vantage point right here. As we drove by earlier, maybe you saw it in the video I shot on my phone, it appeared that a couple of the tires of that maroon vehicle were totally deflated. The car right there really having the attention of different law enforcement agencies. A lot of highway patrol vehicles were a distance from others, so it's tough to make out some of the markings on those. We're still putting all the pieces together. We know there are different scenes, different crews out here covering it for you live, but we're going to make sure and have a full recap with everything we know for you tonight on KELOLAND News at 10. Reporting live south of Beersford on Interstate 29, Dan Centella, KELOLAND News.